Genghis Khan, was one of his sons really his own? Genghis Khan had multiple sons, but one of the most famous among them, Joki, has been the subject of historical debate regarding whether he was truly Genghis Khan's biological son. At the time of Joki's birth, Genghis Khan's principal wife, Borte, had been temporarily captured by an enemy tribe. This raised the possibility that she may have conceived a child with another man during her captivity. In the end, Genghis Khan officially recognized Joki as his son but did not choose him as his successor. Had this suspicion not existed, Joki might have become the next ruler of the Mongol Empire. Genghis Khan, a sumo tournament on the battlefield. The Mongol army valued not only combat but also entertainment. One of their most popular pastimes was bok, traditional Mongolian wrestling. Genghis Khan would sometimes organize wrestling tournaments after battles to boost the morale of his soldiers. These events were not just for fun, they also served to strengthen the soldiers' physical fitness and fighting capabilities. Genghis Khan's encouragement of such traditional sports, alongside his prowess in warfare, was another example of his unique leadership. Genghis Khan, he enjoyed alcohol, but practiced moderation? Mongols were fond of fermented drinks like arag, a traditional mare's milk liquor. Genghis Khan himself enjoyed alcohol during feasts and often held large banquets with his subordinates. However, it is said that he often practiced self-restraint to avoid becoming drunk and making a fool of himself. In later times, as the Mongol Empire expanded, some of his descendants became addicted to alcohol, which is believed to have contributed to the empire's decline. But Genghis Khan himself was a wise leader who knew how to control his drinking. Genghis Khan, did he burn a prince alive? When the Mongol Empire attacked the Jin dynasty in China, there are historical accounts claiming that Genghis Khan burned an enemy prince alive. The Jin dynasty had long posed a threat to the Mongols and was considered a sworn enemy by Genghis Khan. To instill fear in his foes, he executed captured royalty as a public example. Such a method of execution is unthinkable by modern standards, but in the context of warfare at that time, brutal acts like these were sometimes used as strategic tools to completely subjugate the enemy. Genghis Khan, did he use body doubles? There is a theory that Genghis Khan used look-alike body doubles to ensure his safety on the battlefield. To prevent enemy snipers or surprise attacks, it is said that these doubles would sometimes take command in his place during battles. This allowed Genghis Khan to stay safe while planning his strategies from a secure position. Moreover, some believe that after his death, the news of his passing was concealed for a time due to the existence of these body doubles. Genghis Khan, did he claim enemy women after battle? After Genghis Khan's conquests, it was common for his army to treat the women of occupied cities as spoils of war. Genghis Khan himself is said to have taken noblewomen from conquered nations as wives or concubines. His descendants number in the millions, and modern DNA research suggests that over 16 million men alive today carry genetic markers linked to Genghis Khan. While this shows how widely his bloodline has spread, such actions would be considered completely unacceptable by today's standards. Genghis Khan, executed an enemy king with molten silver? The Shah of the Khwarezm Empire, a sworn enemy of Genghis Khan, is said to have been executed in an extraordinarily brutal way after incurring Genghis Khan's wrath. According to some accounts, the method involved melting silver and pouring it down the enemy's throat or into his eyes. This was considered an extreme form of revenge occasionally employed by the Mongol army against their most hated foes. The story has endured as a chilling example of Genghis Khan's fearsome capacity for vengeance. Genghis Khan, waging psychological warfare on the battlefield. Genghis Khan's army did not rely solely on brute force, they also employed psychological warfare to thoroughly crush their enemies. For instance, when besieging enemy cities, the Mongols would sometimes pretend to retreat in order to lower the enemy's guard, only to launch a sudden night assault. As a result of such tactics, many cities surrendered without a fight. Genghis Khan's strategy, that the outcome of war is often decided before the battle begins, was nothing short of extraordinary. Genghis Khan, engineers buried alive. When Genghis Khan conquered the western Xia and Jin dynasties of China, he often ordered the total destruction of cities. In one such city, it is said that the Mongol army buried all the architects and engineers alive, making it impossible to rebuild the city. This was part of a brutal strategy to ensure the enemy could never rise again. However, the merciless nature of this act has been remembered throughout history. Genghis Khan, thousands killed for a funeral? When Genghis Khan died, legend has it that everyone who knew the location of his tomb was killed. Moreover, it is said that anyone who encountered the funeral procession along the way was also executed. As a result, no one knew the location of his final resting place, and it has remained undiscovered to this day. It is also believed that, to prevent chaos in the empire, news of his death was deliberately kept secret for a time. Very few figures in history have been buried under such intense secrecy.